stand. Two armies rise, each with fire in hand. A war for glory, a battle for fate. Who will stand, who will meet their fate? Fighting to see who goes to void fire, chasing a dream that can never expire. Endless crusade will never tire, marching through flames to the rising pyre. Blood on the ground, we fight for the light. Through storms and darkness we ignite. The fire that calls us, the spark we chase. But who will reach that endless place?
Welcome to Voidfire Tactics, our friendly community 40k players. We have a slight competitive edge, and we have prioritized a good time. So we're trying something different. We've talked about it a couple times now. We thought, well, Connor brought something silly, so we thought we would talk about it. Let's start off with the sponsors. Thank you, Kelly. Really been appreciating your help. Helped us since the very beginning. Helped us since we were little, playing Magic and everything. Go see him. Let him know that we say hi. You'll give you a decent discount. There is an echo. Let's try. Thank you, Ben. For that.
Oh, do you have both mics active over there?
Yeah, I think I might have. Is that better, Ben? And thank you, Streamhammer. Appreciate the overlay. We do have this running live, so our audience can say hi and ask Connor questions. Thank you, VFT. VFT 10% off on our Trees of Tail tokens. I know Connor used them in the tournament there.
Absolutely.
So he can tell you all about it.
Where's my box? I'll throw that thing on the...
Yeah, go for it. Trench Trials, 5-man teams I have available up to 12 slots in Silverdale Hall, June 27th, 28th. If 11th comes out, we will be playing 11th. As long as 11th comes out. I will ask him that question for you in a second here, Ben. Silverdale GT. If there is enough people that join us, we will be sending the winner to a Wet Coast like we did last time. Wet Coast, talking about it, January 23rd, 24th, 120, up to 200 players. Great tournament. Six games. Phenomenal. The next one is the Champions of Mid-Table Summer. I'm surprised they haven't sold out. We've been wanting to advertise them, but we have not been able to advertise them because they sell out immediately. Their tickets are on sale August 29th, 20th, and 30th, 6 rounds. Then let's bring in Connor here. The Trouble Defiler, 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Yeah. Hi, Connor.
What's going on, buddy?
So, you want to talk to us about your list here?
Okay, so as everyone probably has been seeing lately, we've had a bit of a disturbance in the force with all of these frickin' crabs, and I decided to jump on the bandwagon for once. So here we've got the 2 new Defilers, as we refer to as Cooler Daniels. They're both kitted out with double las cannons, double excruciator cannons, and then the ectoplasm belly gun. And then this one is like an OG Defiler that I picked up when I bought the army, which is going to be kitted out with double heavy Reaper autocannons, a battle cannon, and double excruciator cannons. The cute part is the autocannons here have devastating wounds, which when you're able to reroll wounds once a game can sometimes be hilarious, like what happened in game 5.
Yeah.
Then obviously we have to run the castle to make these things absolutely go off. So if anybody doesn't know CSM that well, the Hellbrute here projects a 6-inch aura of whenever you Dark Pact, you get the other half of your pact. So and I'm going to be running these guys in Pactbound Zealots. So as long as I pass my leadership of a 6-up on my Dark Pacts and I call Nurgle on the actual guys who are marked Nurgle, I'm going to get crit 5s. If they're near the Hellbrute, they're going to get lethal crit 5s. And then we have Abaddon, who's going to be giving me a 6-inch aura of reroll hits. If anyone doesn't know how Abbey Castle works, as it is referred to, that's the castle. So, on top of that, which really actually made a lot of people really upset, was I was running Masters of the Maelstrom with 5 Legionaries and Huron Blackheart. Huron Blackheart, well, the Masters of the Maelstrom provide a redeploy of 3 models. People really didn't like the idea of me deploying my entire list and going, actually, one of these crabs is going to reserve. And I saw visible markers of pain on their face. It was great. So they also cause a lot of they're also just a hard unit to pick up, and they hit relatively hard. We've got Cypher to cause disruptions in the midfield and also just be a lone operative body that can't be shot unless you're closer than 12 inches. And if you shoot anything of mine within 12 of him and you're within 12 of him, then you know what? He might just shoot you back. You got 3 bikes as like area denial, turn 1, I'm going to throw you away and die, but I'm going to get points for it. I've got home holders with the cultists, and then because I have access to a redeploy, I decided to bring some Red Corsair Raiders who have infiltrate. So you can basically, if your opponent has infiltrate and you go first, and you can beat him in the roll off, you can basically determine where his infiltrate can go and where it can't go, and then you can redeploy them, kind of in your spot that you actually wanted them to go after screwing over your opponent. So that's basically how that kind of goes. And then if you guys are curious, this is my tournament setup for how Trees of Tales sets up their boxes and stuff like that. Just so you can have a visual idea of how much stuff you can actually fit in here. Has they got a good view on the camera?
If you could tilt it up towards the camera, that'd be awesome.
So like here's the box in here. It has a bunch of crap in it. It's got tons of different it's got all my MTT markers. It's got a couple 20-side dies, big 20-side dies. It's got all my wound counters for all my defilers. It's got new 11th edition tokens, courtesy of mid-tables. It's got this lovely little token box, which fits perfectly in there, and then it holds all my dice with a dice box. It's great. Would recommend. It is tournament tried and true. Okay, so.
Yeah, so first question is, like, the main reason you did this was to just try it out, right?
Absolutely. You know what? I saw the power potential. We managed to buy 2 defilers, and I had a third, and I was just like, you know what? It's the end of the edition. Everyone's got to be the villain once, right?
That's fair. So let's kind of talk about your first match there. It was your list against Pat, Chaos Knights, Infernal Lance. It was 100-21. So what happened there?
So I feel bad for Pat, but Pat hasn't played in a little while, and he basically what I got told afterwards was that he's a triple crab is going to be a problem. So he's like, okay, well, if I run into triple crab, he says that I'm just going to put everything on the line and I'm just going to go, and I'm going to pray that I go first. Well, Pat did not go first. So what ended up happening is he deploys his Lancer and a Redeemer or a Rampager kind of out. It's search and destroy deployment, so they're kind of like they're like on the line here and here. And then I'm set up in my deployment, and I see him put those 2 knights out first, and I'm like, okay. So then I put a Defiler kind of over here, and then a Defiler that can kind of jump into the middle with the 2 las cannons, and then this Defiler ran off that way. So we do our things, we deploy our armies, and then roll off. He loses the roll off, so I get to go first. So on first turn, you maneuver castle, you put both Defilers pop out, they get lines on both the knights, and he's like, yep. And he's like, unfortunately, it's going to happen. And I said, okay. This Defiler shoots first. It does pretty all right. It cuts the Rampager down to 9 wounds. And then the second one opens up, and I split fire, because why wouldn't I? Because you have full rerolls, lethal sustained hits. This was going to be go turn for them, so they were both rerolling wounds because I wanted to drop 2 knights in one go. And then so the belly cannon The las cannon took down the two las cannons took down the rampager off 9 wounds, and then the belly cannon went off and then dropped the lancer down to 12, and that was before he got to do anything. So that was basically all I could do. I scored my objectives and then I passed it over to him, and then he went through his command phase and he touched his lancer, which was the mistake. So I overwatched him, and the las cannons went off. I scored 3 hits in Overwatch, so 3 6s, which means I turned that 3 into 6, and then I wounded everything. So on his turn, before he got to move his Lancer, I handed him 6 las cannon saves in Overwatch, and he took them all, almost, and I took the Lancer down in that phase. And that was basically kind of the end of the game at that point in time, because you've lost 2 big knights before you get to even start, and that's kind of just a death knell for knights. So I tabled him at the top of round 3, and that was kind of the end of that.
Yep.
The other probably big problem was that his dice were just not doing great. As we know, dice tell stories. A Rampager charges a Defiler, doesn't kill it, lives on 2. The Defiler claps back for 21 damage in melee.
Yeah.
It was just not good. It was just not good. I don't feel good about that game. I was laughing the entire time. Pat was not. I bought him a drink.
Fair enough. I love the sportsmanship. Then your next one was against AJ, 66-63.
Oh boy.
AJ is actually one of our newest members to Voidfire, and appreciate joining us. We'll always enjoy the extra couple new members. So how was that match? Sounds a little closer.
That one was a little bit closer. It was a fight because it's Thousand Suns, and if you know Thousand Suns, it can be notoriously scary sometimes when you're versing it, because their powers can go off, their bolters just gain lethal hits and they make you cry. They're high AP, so they always push invul save, and like you're handing me sometimes like 12 saves at 2-1, which is kind of cracked. And so I had to be a little more cagey with kind of everything. And it was a slaughter for both sides. I think we barely, probably even both of us had like 200 points left on the table by the end of it. Wasn't really any super like critical moments from what I kind of remember. There was some scary overwatches, but that's just kind of how it goes with this list, because you get full rerolls to hit with lethal sustain. Like, why aren't you overwatching every single chance that you get? He played a wicked game. It was sweaty. It was very sweaty.
Yeah.
And it came down because that game, what was the score again? How much did I win by?
3 points.
Yeah, I won by 3 points. So that basically was the difference between going first and going second. And I went second, which is a big advantage 9 times out of 10. That was, it was anybody's game basically the entire time. So that's a testament to AJ's skill going up against something as disgusting as this list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then this is a kind of an interesting match. The next one, it's Connor from Cocked Dice versus Connor from Voidfire. They always have this match every mid-tables. It is really interesting to see, really cool to see, because it's really funny. How did that match go for you? It was an 87 for Connor McKenzie versus Connor Blood Angels, 64.
Yeah.
How was that match?
So he was running Rage Curse Onslaught, because of course you are. And he was running a good list. It was probably one of the lists that after I looked at it, I was like, oh, this could really screw me up if he plays this correctly. And I could really lose this if I play wrong. So I had to play, once again, a little bit conservatively, but also not so conservatively that like I just don't get any points. So Death Company hurt. Death Company hurt a lot. And Death Company brought down a Defiler. I think it was 5 Death Company and a Captain. Didn't quite kill a Defiler, which I was amazed. I was so shocked that it lived. But it lived at like 5 or 6 wounds or something like that. And it was a game of like him trying to trade up, and then me trying my best to stop him from trading up, because I need to get immense value out of the 3 crabs to actually keep myself in the game. And it ended up going in my favor. I baited out his Lancer right away, because he had a Gladiator Lancer, which was probably the only shooting threat in his army that was really going to screw me up. And then he had a Redemptor Dreadnought and a Death Company Dreadnought. Death Company Dreadnought would screw up a crab in combat, because it was running the Talons, so that would have been rough. Anyways, so I seen his Lancer, how he deployed it over yonder, and it was like this deployment. I can't remember what this is. Crucible Battle. Yeah, so it was the Crucible Battle deployment, and I seen that he put his Lancer up there. And I was like, you know what? I was like, Huron Blackheart and the boys and the Rhino, I think we need bait. So I put the Rhino kind of like right here, and then I gave him a line right across the table to come and get it, and he took it, which was the mistake. Because then after that, he took my Rhino, which he actually didn't kill in my turn. He actually killed it in Overwatch. Which, thinking back now, that's more than 24 inches.
It happens.
Oh well, it's the last of 10th edition. I don't give a damn. Anyway, so I move my my Rhino there. He overwatches and kills it, which actually puts Huron Blackheart and the boys in a bad spot because, as I've learned, if your vehicle gets blown up in Overwatch, you can't do jack with that unit. Can't charge. It's battle shocked. That's just the long and short of it. But it did allow me to get this dirty line on what table was day one?
Table 1.
Table 1. Yeah, there is this dirty line. If they stick their nose out right here, a Defiler can actually walk up somewhere around here, and then there is this tiny needle nose line, because I just learned about it from the Knights player that I think Kyleverse or something like that. There was this little line, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna use that. So of course Defiler picks up a Lancer. Color me shocked. So I no longer have to deal with the shooting threat. Now I can start disrespecting him entirely and just start pushing into his face. So then I just started to just maneuver everything up. And then, like, when you've got to deal with 12 strength 6 AP 1/2 damage, lethal sustained crit 5s, full rerolls to hit, rerolling 1s to wound at minimum, full rerolls to wound at maximum, nothing lives. Absolutely nothing lives. You can have a 10-man death company, and it's if you put the heavy bolt, the autocannon guys into it with 3 damage, that's kind of almost the sweet spot, and nothing lived. It was just a slaughter. He killed like 2 crabs. 1 was left alive. Abaddon was left alive. The Hellbrute was left alive. The castle was basically still going, and at that point, it just kind of steamrolled the rest of the way. It's how this list goes.
Yeah. You did have a question. Why not run double Hellbrute versus just 1?
Points. Straight up points. Like, you can keep these two relatively safe and keep the Defilers in range. Like, 6 inches is actually quite a lot of distance when you actually think about it. And then when you're actually like playing on the terrain pieces, it's actually a lot. So you just make sure you have your 12-inch stick and whatever else. And then Abaddon and the boys can run through walls. So you basically just really need to think about where the Hellbrute goes. And if you're ever scared about losing the Hellbrute, he's marked Nurgle. So you can give him Lone Operative 18 for a CP. If everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna kill your castle, you're like, no, you're not gonna touch it. And you just make sure that no one can ever see Abaddon, because Abaddon's got lots of freedom. With the Chosen, he can advance, fall back, shoot, charge. So he's extremely mobile, and he's extremely ready to get into combat as well. He's also a CP generator along with the Masters of the Maelstrom. But 1 Hellbrute is good enough if you know what you're doing. If you need 2 Hellbrutes, you might need some practice. That's just kind of the long and short of that.
Okay. Your third match, he went to table 8 there, and Shane, I wish I could grab the photo and show you guys it.
Yes.
It was an interesting photo. Connor gets there at the event, and I get a photo sitting on my couch, and he's just staring at the table. Why did I decide crabs? It was table 8. If anyone's seen table 8 with Search and Destroy, it is tricky to move around that
Funny
table.
enough, this is table 8.
Yes.
With it's a shame that my stuff is actually like all over the place. But either way, table 8 was an interesting conundrum, because there's only really like 2 safe spots where you can put any crabs that actually make them relevant turn 1. So that's kind of a puzzle. And then thank God I have a redeploy, because most of the time I would put a crab behind, like you could put one crab here and you could put one crab here, and then you usually put one crab like right here, and the building will block lines from downtown this way. So for the last 2 games, I basically pulled a crab into reserves every time, which would have been this guy, because he needs to be able to walk on the side of the board and try and not allow you to get cover, because all of his stuff is AP1. So these guys would be on the field. This guy would probably walk off. And yeah, at the start of that, I was just like, oh, there's nowhere safe here. And I didn't really want to spend all my CP on turn 1 to just like not get shot. And also, it actually wasn't even really possible, because if they wanted to be aggressive about it, they could actually, like, 18 inches is long. Like 18 inches is probably about probably about that. So like if you wanted to stick yourself out here, they could easily stick themselves here and blam you. So it was an interesting conundrum, but it was table 8 ended up working in my favor. I would probably say on round 5, but not too much because it was a draw. But that was just that was other things.
Well, that's a great segment right into this one. Yeah, let's talk about your so that match was round 4, Connor 73-77. Real close game, 5-point difference. That's huge.
4-point difference.
Yeah. Well, you need 5 to win though, right?
Yeah,
so 5 point.
Yeah, so a 5-point difference to win, which basically means it was anybody's game.
Any secondary.
It was any secondary. If I drew a different secondary, I think the biggest thing that screwed me over was I went first that game. Was probably the main reason I lost. Besides also, funny enough, being a bit of a sissy with my bikes, I didn't just throw them in the middle like I probably should have, which probably could have maybe netted me some primary more, and also forced him to come out. So yeah, and then that was, funny enough, that was the winner of the mid-tables. So like I was facing the champion on round 4.
Yeah. Then Aiden,
there's a lot more to do with that game.
I call Jordan say?
Oh yeah, there was tons with that game. So he played an amazing game. I played, because I went to this tournament with 0 practice. I got like 2 practice games before, just basically trying to practice how to move these things around, because 160 mil dinner plate is quite the feat. And you got to have the extra base was a big help to see where I could land before touching my models. But he proposed me with a bunch of interesting conundrums. So it was Shadowmark Talon, Raven Guard, and they was quite the thing. So biggest threat to me was 6 Centurion Devastators that could go up and down, which was the problem. So I had, in response to Jordan doing his sort of whatever, I deployed everything out on the field, and I was like, I'm going to pull my Rhino and this crab into reserves. And he was like, don't do this to me. I was like, oh yes, this is happening. So the plan from the get-go was, because I knew his Centurion Devastators were going to start on the table and then bail out so that he could kind of control where they went for the rest of the game, is these guys were going to chase them down, was the plan. Wherever he dropped, I'd rapid ingress 9 away, and I was going to go get him. So eventually, we were sitting kind of here. I had exposed 2 crabs kind of this way. One was sitting here, and one was able to poke its nose of its base just out of here, so I could actually have full view of the front of the table. And then he dropped his Centurion Devastators right back here. So in response, I paid a CP, and I dropped my Rhino right about here. But he also had 5 jump intercessors in here, which proved that was almost going to be a problem until I mathed my way out of that situation. So he does his shooting, picks up 1 Defiler, which is okay. I'm okay. I'm mostly okay with that trade. It would be better if I only exposed 1, because then I could have Nurgle stratted or threatened it, and then he would have had to have dropped his guys within 18, and then I could have overwatched them, which I could have picked up a couple of Centurion Devastators, which might have saved me. But that's just kind of game knowledge coming to not me being dumb. And inexperienced in this list's whatever. So they were up there. I rapid ingressed the Rhino in here. He has 5 jump intercessors. So he proposed me with a question on my turn. I jump out and then move my 9. And then he's like, oh, I'm going to pay a CP and do my reactive move. He rolls a 6 on his reactive move for his jump intercessors. He then fills this building, this whole wall, with jump intercessors, and then blocks my only route that my dudes could actually go through with that little alleyway with that building there. So I'm like, oh, crap. So I let him do all of his stuff, well, I think. And I was like, I have a plan. So the Masters of the Maelstrom plus Legionaries can put out a decent amount of shooting. It's not much, but it's honest work. But what you can really bank on is mortal wounds. So you throw out, because it was my turn, and if you don't know this, if it's your turn and there's a bunch of things happening, you can choose kind of how those things stack up and end. So I allowed Jordan to do his reactive move, any other moves that he wants to do. I'm like, okay, well, now that my guys have ended their normal move, and I can now see you, I'm going to send the dog in. The dog takes down 2 Space Marines because he's D3 plus 1 mortal wounds. Then the shooting takes down another Marine and a half. And then what really finished it off was the Rhino moved and then charged and then tank shocked and then cleared the way for Huron Blackheart, who then made the 7-inch charge into the Centurion Devastators, which was, Jordan was impressed. And that was also my first game against him, so I don't think he knew that maybe I'm not the second worst player in Voidfire.
So a little history on that. If you look at Connor's score, I think
My elo.
Yeah, his elo. I think this is the first tournament that he's ever played that he's got 3 wins. He's usually 2 wins in singles. Teams, he's a whole different story. I'm keeping that as that.
I've won 5 wins in teams.
A couple times now.
But yeah, so that was a super interesting list. It was good to see the Raven Guard, because like that's a list that doesn't seem a lot of play, especially after it got nerfed, I think, a while ago.
No, it hasn't been nerfed.
Hasn't been nerfed? Okay, but it's been consistently pretty good, and it takes a lot of skill to play. And once again, it's a testament to Jordan's skill because he won the whole event. And you know what? I will take a 4-point loss to the actual winner of the event. And yeah, he definitely deserved that one.
Yeah. I've versed Jordan a handful of times, and I think it's 3-1 right now with me and Jordan. And I can straight up tell you, he's a good player. He will give you a run for your money every time. So, and let's talk into your last match, your draw here, the 75-75 into Aiden. Aiden gives me a struggle for my money.
Yep.
He specifically mains T-Suns.
He's a very good T-Sun player.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
So let's hear about it, Connor.
Okay, so I was after when I showed up in the morning, I was looking. During lunch, I was looking at who I could possibly face, and Aiden was the only one I didn't want. So I was like, damn, it's gonna be him. So I've played him once before, and he scammed me with, I was playing Orcs at the time, and he scammed the living hell out of me. I managed to get Gaz, bang down an 11-inch charge onto his Magnus, and during Wa turn, and I handed him like 12 saves on Gaz on his strike, and he just saved it all, because that was old Magnus, who could be like, actually I'm going to blank this, and then I'm going to reroll this, I'm going to reroll this, and I'm like, oh, okay, fine. So I think Magnus ended up taking only 4 damage, which was actually put down to 3 because -1 damage. So I would have nailed him, and I was upset. So I was bound and determined to make him pay, which I didn't. Almost. I took his elo down. That's good enough for me.
Exactly.
Anyways, we do the game. He's rocking Hex Warp Thrallband, which is basically like Shadows of Chaos, but for T-Suns, for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he was running triple Demon Prince, which was holy hell, and no Magnus, which I was like, oh, okay. Triple Demon Prince, 10 Terminators, a couple squads of Rubric Marines, and then Infernal Masters. God, they hurt so bad. And then also a couple of units of Zangors that could go up, down, and whatever else. The biggest thing is that if he can control the majority of the objectives in the midboard, he gets like +1 to wound on all of his psychic and just basically all of his stuff in general, which was a problem. So, start of the game, we deploy, We roll off to see who goes first. I'm like, you know what? I'm leaving all the crabs on the table on this one. So we roll to see who goes first. He goes first, and he is upset about it because the plan for him was to go second and to live and then outscore me. And because he went first, he then had to push me, which was a bad idea. So he's got a Forge Fiend. He's got his own Defiler. So it was crab on crab action. And then it was like 2 Demon Princes were somewhere around here. 10 Terminators were started on the board. And then there was like some dudes. It was like Zangor Enlightened with bows kind of over here. I started this crab, the autocannon crab, and I started him kind of over yonder. Kind of like here. And then he goes first, and then he puts 2 Demon Princes on his natural expansion objective down here. And he says, I can't, because of the crappy advance, I can't fully hide the 1 Demon Prince. So the 1 Demon Prince is going to be visible to this lane, as what he said. I said, okay. I had Huron Blackheart and a Rhino on the line, because I was like, I'm going to make a stinky play. So what had ended up happening is I thought to myself, I was like, well, if I can just nug his primary right off the rip and go second, that's going to be kind of the best of both worlds. So my plan was to jump here on Blackheart and the boys out, move, and then bang out this like 7-inch charge right onto his natural expansion objective. And I think, and I'm pretty confident with Legionaries being able to reroll wounds, this squad would take down a Demon Prince with reroll wounds. I was pretty confident about that. And then the other Defiler, I wasn't banking off this to happen, but the other Defiler moved up to here and then got this line down here to the second Demon Prince. So all that was on this point was 2 Demon Princes and Zangor Enlightened. As soon as Huron Blackheart moved up, they bailed out and they moved back to like here because they have their reactive move. So that was even less on the point. I would have loved to have caught them and killed them, but it is what it is. I end up failing my... I go to shooting. This guy, I was like, I got dev wounds. So I pop his once per game devastating wounds. He's in the castle. And then I ended up handing him 4 devastating wounds for 3 damage apiece, which equals 12. And absolutely just obliterate his 1 Demon Prince. Which he was like, yeah. He was like, I had a 2-up armor save, but the dev wounds, it is what it is. And T-Sons can't really complain about dev wounds.
No, that is one army that's not.
So have a taste of your own medicine, K-Sons. And then I failed my 7-inch charge. Unfortunately, even with a reroll, I just rolled 6 twice. Sucks to suck. And that was kind of the end of turn 1. And then turn 2 comes around, and he runs his Terminators kind of up here. He has an enhancement for anti-monster, anti-vehicle 4-up on his like Terminator Sorcerer or whatever. That thing dealt damage.
Oh yeah.
That thing hurt a lot. And then his Defiler moved up, and then his Forge Fiend moved up. And I only had 1 Defiler exposed. And I can't remember if he killed the Defiler over there or if he just severely wounded it. I think he killed it. Yeah, I think he killed it. So I lost a Defiler here, and then coming on to my turn, he basically had exposed everything to me. So it was like, okay, it's go time, baby. So I move up all my Defilers. A Defiler's sticking out, poking up here, and a Defiler moves right here. I can see everything that I want from him. And then Huron Blackheart and friends move up to into the building, make an unfailable charge. We also catch the Zangor Enlightened with shooting, which they got evaporated, which was great. And then on to shooting. These 2 Defilers together picked up his Defiler, his Forge Fiend, half of his Terminators, a squad of Rubric Marines, and then I believe it caught out some damage on something else. I'm just drawing a blank on what that was. But they picked up a lot. They easily picked up their points. And put him into a bad situation, because now I controlled basically the entire mid board, because I had infiltrators holding my natural expansion. I had a Defiler plus bikes holding middle, and then I had this brick of dudes that have like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, That's what, and then plus another 10 OC, so we're at 30, we're at like 36 OC or something like that off these guys alone, holding his natural expansion objective, who are also very hard to take down. And it was just a problem. The game kind of played out as it sort of went, and then, as we know, this ended in a draw. So Aiden looks at me, and he says, it's the end of my round 5. He's like, you know what, man? Good game. You beat me. It's just like, it's over, blah, blah, blah. I looked at Aiden in the face. I was like, bro, I'm a choke. Just watch. So I had some bad positioning with Abaddon. He was positioned kind of over here because he was on the point because he had to make this charge onto the last of his Terminators. And then he had a squad of Rubric Marines kind of over here. And I needed to control this objective to win. And I also needed to delete this unit. I needed to delete one of his units. There was this unit here that had like 2 Rubric Marines and a Sorcerer. And then there was like a unit of Bowgoats kind of over there. I think it was Storm Hostile objective. And then it was Display of Might. We were dead even for Display of Might. And one of the units needed to die. And then I needed to stand on the objective. So I rolled an advance, I rolled a crap advance, I re-rolled it, I rolled it back into a crap advance. What do? Dice be dice. So I ended up sitting like here or something like that. And then his guys were still like back here. It was like a 7 or an 8-inch charge. And I moved my cultists up. They got overwatched. So I lost all of them basically. I had 2 dudes left in my cultist squad that was going to try and help and also get to be another unit to get Display of Might to get them out of my deployment zone. And I whiffed all the charges. They tried to shoot the Zangor Enlightened and couldn't pick them all up. And that was the end of that. And I looked at him and I was like, I score no secondary. Draw my boy. He's like, what? It was just a random course of events at that point in time, but it was a good game overall, and Aiden's always a gem to verse.
So a couple questions for you here. All right, would you bring this list again?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm bored of it. You know how stupid it is to basically just be like, oh, these Defilers will pick up just about whatever I want whenever I need it to. It's just too easy. And like honestly, this list will never be brought again because right now these 3 Defilers are 750 points together. That's not happening in the future. God no.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't want to bring this again. Big stompy robots is not my thing. 9 times out of 10, I'm an infantry guy. Infantry is my thing. Like new mutilators excite me a lot. The Huron's Marauders detachment is what I want to be running with like big blocks of like Chosen and Raptors with the new Raptors with all their heavy weapons and then like Warp Talons and all that kind of cool stuff. That's what excites me. This was fun to play for like a round. Like if you've never played Knights before, it's kind of fun the first couple of times and then you're just like, eh. Okay, I shoot. Cool stuff.
Yeah. Then the other question is, how do you feel about 11th so far? I know 11th is huge talk. We're in 10th right now. Just in case if this video gets postponed, we're just announcing it right now. It's like, how do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, last night, Auspex and Tactical Tortoise both dropped videos talking about all the potential rules that are coming out and what they've seen on the live stream and stuff like that. So far, so good, man. Everything looks good. Everything looks really, really good. I was kind of skeptical about the Overwatch change, and then I was thinking in the context of 10th edition versus the context of 11th edition, where instead of getting Overwatched as soon as you start or end a move, you get Overwatch in the end of the movement phase. So that means like you could run your infantry behind a wall away from flamers, and then they can't get you, which you would not be able to do in 10th edition. And then there's no rerolls anymore, so I won't be able to do what I did with these 3 boys ever again.
Sad. Lehman Rust Battle Cannon says sad face.
Yes, you will never be able to pick up Silent King and Overwatch from full to 0 with the Lehman Rust Battle Cannon. That'll never happen again.
Or if you guys want to see what I've done to Shane, the TO for this tournament actually mid tables, I actually did him dirty with Overwatch all game. in on a live stream. I wish I had that Overwatch on SK on stream because I would have been clipped so
that would
bad.
have been a good clip.
Other than that, like, how do you find the event? All that.
Oh, mid-tables event is always it's always stellar. It's always a good time. I mean, it's what is it? It's like linoleum floors and stuff like that. It's loud as shit all the time, but that's most places. It's the venue. It is what it is. It's a good venue though. They most likely get a good price for it, and it's just in a good spot, like food right down the road, and then it's a good central location if you're coming in from Vancouver or whatever else, and we're coming in from Mission, so it's like it's a good center meeting point, and the guys at MTT are always amazing. They're always great people. Chris, Shane, Darren.
Oh yeah,
wicked guys.
Like so a little little info about me and Connor here. We actually started deadlifters. We were just playing in our backyards. We got some muscle shirts. Then we actually became a team, and that's why Voidfire is a team now. Mid tables is actually the ones that pushed us to start doing events, start streaming. And we honestly have to say, hey, thank you guys, because they've done lots for us. They helped us out with the whole studio. And it's been quite a treat.
Yeah, I don't think we would be actually doing this right now if we didn't have the relationship that we have with mid tables. Because like I bought us those deadlifting for the Dark Gods muscle shirts for everybody, and that was just kind of the start of it. And then Lucas was like, why don't we like actually make a team? And we're like, okay.
Yeah, and that's what kind of happened here. We've been trying to increase our camera quality, all that. If you guys want to see better videos, better quality, support us a little bit. Come to our events. Our event money goes to our stream or to make our events better.
Yeah, we are actively just upgrading everything. We are just reinvesting every bit of money that we basically can to break our cost even, and then we are reinvesting into cameras, lighting, tables, painting and taping tables. God damn, you name it, we're doing it. We've got all 11th edition templates cut. We've got 40 tables of Darren Kelly terrain. Like, we are going as hard as we can.
Another huge info for you guys. After September, I'll be posting our next 5 events. Me and Connor both agreed we're going to do 5 events, 3 teams, 2 singles. Singles for the winter, summer for teams. Just because, you know, driving on the Coquihalla or transporting and moving around in the winter can be a little tricky. So I'd rather, hey, team event, let's make it a little safer for everyone.
Just warmer weather makes traveling easier.
Yeah. But I think that's kind of everything, isn't there?
Yeah. If there's no more questions, then
yeah. The only other question is there any tricks or tips you can give other players?
What about this list?
Just in general.
Just in general? Shoot. I don't know. With 11th edition context coming around, there isn't a whole... I can give you, like, talk about 10th edition, but that's not really going to be that useful in the next, I don't know, what, like 5 or 6 days?
Pretty close.
Like...
The only thing I can say about 10th to 11th is... I don't know if anyone has played 8th to 9th. That's going to be the same thing. It's going to be 10.5 with a couple rule changes. What's going to be huge, the only tip I can tell people right now is watch the maps, look at the maps. That'll teach you lots.
Yeah, that's just a good one. Just understanding the map layouts, setting out your map layout on your table, and then just sitting around with your laser pointer and going like, well, that's a line. And you're like, oh, that's kind of dirty. I should remember that. All that kind of stuff. Remember your shooting lanes. Remember where you should be, where you shouldn't be. That's probably just a good one overall. If you want some sort of advice that will translate from every edition to every edition, is understanding your map layouts.
One of the ones I like to recommend, I would use it as a guide, but don't memorize it. Like TTS, if you need to practice getting used to moving around the table and understand lines, TTS is great. It's a good tool. But at the end of the day, these little templates that Connor, you can see the gray on the templates, they do adjust. a terrain are always not exact same.
Mm-hmm.
So don't, hey, this is what TTS says. Just go to your TO, double check with him.
Yeah, the actual terrain that sits on the terrain piece, you don't really trust that too much. You definitely trust the templates themselves because these will always be the same no matter where you go. Your terrain can be different from tournament to tournament to tournament because not all terrain is made the same.
Yeah, you want to throw one of those into the camera so
Yeah.
they can kind of see.
Yeah, so I mean, like, not every single piece of terrain is made equally. Like, we have this terrain. If we had the other terrain, like, and then sometimes you might show up to an event and they're rocking, these kind of walls instead. You never know what you're going to run into. Or sometimes you might roll in and they're like, oh, hey, we've got some, like, AOS terrain that we're going to throw in the middle. So just be aware of what you could be running into, but you can always trust the templates.
Yeah, and always just, like I said, I like my biggest thing when I go to a tournament, I don't have to do it with Shane or Wet Coast because I know the TOs really well. They actually helped us quite a bit. Dan Miner is the other TO for Wet Coast. Is whenever we go out to Kelowna, I ask their TO guy, hey, I have a couple questions. What are the rules here? What are this? Because it's just better to get it over and done with. Any suggestions there for yourself?
Until 11th edition gives me more context, I don't really have much else.
Yeah. I was more seeing if you had any like player things to. Oh, another huge thing is a big rule. I know Connor likes this rule in the beginning. Always give your opponent a quick, hey, I got you a gotcha strat, gotcha shootbacks, reactive moves. Announce it once, and then after you tell me once and I do it again, well, that one's on me. I'm pretty sure Connor's on the same rule. Tell me once, that's all I get.
Yeah, I mean, you should definitely warn your opponent about your about some gotcha things and stuff like that. But I mean, you also can't. Maybe it's bad player etiquette, but I don't want to play the game for you, right?
I don't say it's bad player etiquette. That's why it's like if I shoot, I'm going to say I shoot the Defiler, it can shoot back. He reminds me the first time. He reminds me in the opening. I do it again, and he's like, hey, reminder. Then if I do it a second time, I deserve it.
At least that's the standard I hold myself to at the very least.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that's everything, isn't it?
I would say so.
Thank you, Connor, for coming in. Not super early for once.
Not super early for once. I actually slept tonight. Oh,
yeah.
So good.
So I'll end it here. It was great to have a couple of people ask some questions. I know I got some personal messages as I was asking Connor there. So thank you, Connor, for showing. Please join our Discord, subscribe to our YouTube, join our Twitch, hit that bell button, see any new videos. We hope you see a new time. And we will be talking definitely when 11th actually comes out. You might see us do like a couple recaps of a couple things.
Oh yeah, our first because I think our first tournament for 11th is going to be what?
June.
It's going to be our Juneteenth tournament.
Yeah. So,
oh god, that's going to be fresh 11.
Yeah, fresh 11th, and we will probably do another little video like this to talk about it.
Absolutely.
Just give the chat a couple seconds, see if there's any other questions. It kind of doesn't look like it. So we will talk to you guys another time. Later.
Deuces.